How many of you have heard of Half Dome in Yosemite National Park? Even if you haven't been, chances are you've seen the photos. It's a massive slab of granite overlooking Yosemite Valley in California. Half Dome is one of the most famous, beautiful, yet underestimated hikes in the United States. Each year, thousands of people attempt the summit without fully understanding the risks involved. I plan to attempt to summit Half Dome next fall. As I began researching the trail, I have realized just how important it is to stay safe and to prepare. Many hikers underestimate the physical strain a hike like this takes on your body, the environmental risks you assume while being out in the wilderness, and the dangers on the final cable section. Today I will explain the physical demands of hiking Half Dome, the weather risks involved, and why constant safety awareness, especially on the last section of the hike, the cable section, is crucial. The first step into understanding how to complete this hike is to examine just how much physical preparation it really takes. To begin with, it is extremely important to start in already great shape. According to the Discover National Park website, the hike is 16 miles round trip with 4,800 feet of elevation gain. A significant chunk of this elevation gain is at an almost vertical incline at the end of the hike, the cable section. That's the equivalent of climbing hundreds of stairs in a single day. Half Dome is relentless, with steep switchbacks, uneven terrain, and very little shade in some areas. Hikers can become exhausted, which increases risk of injury. This is why training beforehand is essential. This includes activities like weightlifting to build strength, climbing stairs to simulate the elevation gain that you'll see in the hike, and doing cardio constantly to build your endurance. Physical preparation can be the difference between a rewarding and beautiful hike and a potentially very dangerous situation. In addition to physical demands, environmental changes create major risks on the trail. Weather in Yosemite is known to change at the drop of a hat, and clear skies in the morning can change into thunderstorms by the afternoon. That's why it's important to bring gear suited for temperature and weather changes, such as convertible pants that convert into shorts, waterproof shoes and a change of shoes, and a change of clothes. Dehydration and heat exhaustion are also common among hikers. Drinkable water is very limited on the trail, so it's important for you to carry your own in your pack. The National Park Service recommends about 4 liters per person, although it's very common to need more. Finally, the cable section of the hike is the most challenging but the most rewarding. This last 400 feet gains 1,500 feet of elevation at an almost vertical incline. It is critical to stay aware and to know your limits. It is also critical to stay aware of people hiking around you and trying to pass you, so as to not push anybody off. This section is entirely made out of granite and, like I said, almost vertical, which is extremely slippery regardless, but especially slippery when wet. That's why it's important to never attempt to summit if it's been raining. The summit is steep and exposed with sheer vertical drop-offs on either side. Hikers must stay extremely vigilant and make humble and smart decisions during this leg of the hike. One of the most important skills a hiker can have is not acting with ego and knowing when to turn around. Accidents happen when people push through their exhaustion and unsafe conditions on the trail. Reaching the summit is completely optional, but returning home safely is not. To review what I've covered today in my speech, I have explained the physical demands of hiking Half Dome, the environmental risks involved, and the importance of humility and awareness, especially on the cable section. Half Dome is a beautiful and bucket list hike for many people, including myself, but like all of nature, it demands respect. With proper training and awareness, hikers can safely experience this iconic trail for themselves.